Hi, this is Alexandra at Beadaholique, here to show you how to make the Pollen Prism necklace. So this focal piece is bead woven and it's made up of 3 separate units connected with jump rings. And the beads that are used are 2-hole Czech glass beads. There's Ginko beads here, Chevron beads, and also some Miyuki round 11-0 beautiful matte 24-karat plated beads, which I just love. These were the inspiration of the name pollen. They remind me of pollen grains. So we're also, once we have the focal put together, we're going to put it onto chain and add a clasp. The tools that I'll be using are some round nose and chain nose pliers, some cutters, flush cutters to separate the chain where we want it, and some smoke FireLine. So to begin, I have 2 feet of FireLine cut and I have my size 12 needle strung on, and I'm first going to add a stopper bead, leaving myself a 4 to 6 inch tail. So I'll tie that on and get started here. First, I'm going to string on a seed bead. Then I'm going to take one of my chevron beads and string up through the nose side of the bead. You'll see it's drilled from front to back in this direction. Bring that down and add on my first Ginko bead. And here I'm stringing through the wider base of that bead, so that it sits flush in the space of the chevron. And over the top of this bead, I'm going to add on 5 seed beads. So let me string those on, pull them down, and come over the top through the second hole of that Ginko bead and down through the second hole of the chevron bead, so that those seed beads lay right over that little top section of the Ginko. And now I'm adding on another seed bead, and I'm going to repeat that process, bringing on another chevron bead coming through the pointed nose side of it, adding on a Ginko bead coming through the wider base of it, and bringing on 5 more seed beads. And here again, I'm going to come over the top and through the second hole of each of my Czech glass beads, checking my tension, tightening that up, and adding on another seed bead. Now I'm ready to bring on my third chevron bead coming through the nose side, my third Ginko bead coming through the wider base, and 5 more seed beads. So once I have all my beads on, I'm going to assemble the unit into the shape that I want it. Oh, but I've got to string through the second hole of my beads. Let me do that. Coming through, that completes this weave. And now I'm ready to set my beads down on the table and situate them into the configuration that I'll be tying the knot off. So all that's left to do here is to remove that stopper bead and tie the 2 sides together. So I'm just going to get a grip on that little red bead and pull it off, and then tie my 2 strings together. Making sure that the knot lands right between the seed bead and the chevron. There we go. Now I'm ready to tie in my thread, get the knots secured. So I'm going to weave back through one seed bead and the 2 holes of the Czech glass coming up. And I'm going to tie a knot by just looping my thread through the loop. Make a little knot there. Double up on that. And to weave in my thread, I'm going to double it back through these seed beads over the top. And send it down through the 2 holes of these Czech glass beads, and I should be ready to clip that side. So I'll get my little scissors, take that end off, and I'm going to do the same thing on the tail portion. I'm going to string on my needle. And just repeat the process of getting to a secure place where I can make a knot. Coming through the loop once and twice. Make sure that thread lands where I want it to. There we go. And send my needle through some beads to tie in my thread. So this is one of the 3 beaded units that you'll be putting together to construct the necklace. Just clip that tail like so. So once my woven units are ready to put together, what I first need to do is attach these little bottom jump rings with the seed beads, which I neglected to do on my first unit. So let me get that on there for you. I'm going to take one of these 5mm 21 gauge jump rings, which is a nice thin gauge for this sort of a project. I'm going to string on 3 of my seed beads. Gently, carefully. There we go, using my plier for grip. And I'm going to slide it onto this 3rd bead, which has 2 on either side, and that centers it off of one of the tips of my design. I'm going to take my other plier and close that up securely. There we go. So now my woven units are completed and ready to attach. I'm going to use these same jump rings in between each section. And I'm going to do the same thing where I find that center bead, and I'm going to gently guide my jump ring through that bead. Sometimes it takes a little patience to get through these tiny holes. There we go. There's one, and I'm wanting to pay attention to the orientation of my piece so that I know that that jump ring with the dangles on it is at the bottom. Taking up my 2nd piece, that went on a lot more easily, and I'll close that up. And do the same thing for this section. Find the opening of my jump ring and slide the piece on. Here again, I want my plier so that I have some leverage. There we go. I'm going to close that up. And my focal piece is complete. So now I'm just ready to attach my chain, my clasp, And for this I have a 12-inch section of 3mm Rolo chain. Again, it's this beautiful matte gold that goes well with the jump ring, or sorry, with the seed beads. I'm going to find the center link and clip that right at the 6-inch mark using my flush cutters. Then I'm ready to take a couple more jump rings and add on my beautiful tiara cast toggle. I liked how the shape of this toggle sort of mirrors the shape of the beaded units. I'm just going to slide that bar side on there, close it up, and get the ring side on and close it up. And I'll do the same thing down here for the focal. I'm going to again slide into that center seed bead on one point of the design and latch on one side of the chain and repeat that on the opposite side. There we are. So I really enjoyed finding a way to put these beads together in a fun geometric way that incorporated some seed beads. There's the Pollen Prism necklace. I hope you enjoyed this video. These tools and supplies are all available at beadaholique.com. Please also subscribe to our YouTube channel for all the latest updates. Thanks for watching.